Good evening. Well, day 2 of the RNC has been completed, and as of yet, I haven't heard of any protests. Haven't even heard of any protests, let alone violent. So far, good sign. Now, I do want to clarify that, the Summer of Chaos did insinuate that it would be both conventions. So there's, the idea that they may be holding something in reserve, which you never know. But tonight I wanted to talk about something away from current events. The actual namesake for my channel is, Chemtrail 25, and I'm amazed at the level of programming that people have endured, to the point that, they won't even entertain the possibility of somebody suggesting something. Now, it may be just that they, want to ridicule me or make fun of me or troll me or, whatever, which is fine. But the level with which people, debate the topic when the evidence is there, the admissions have been made. I'm reminded of a couple of things that Gandhi said. He said, the truth doesn't stop being the truth just because nobody believes it. And he also said, even if you're in a minority of one, the truth is still the truth. And I'm mentioning this because I've had a few instances today where people sort of making fun of my I suppose obsession with chemtrails. I've got a family, and I'm extremely concerned with things that are happening, being perpetrated by our government. They're doing these things, and they've admitted to it. The director of the CIA, recently in a speech to the Council on Foreign Relations, which that in and of itself is a sinister organization, talked about stratospheric aerosol injections, or SAIs. They all love the acronyms, and these SAIs are chemtrails. And he even alluded to the chemtrails being used in conjunction with weather manipulation. And he even said, that will come with tough decisions on who gets the assistance and who doesn't. And they're bold enough to come right out and say it. But I suppose what's bothering me, or not really bothering, but what's disappointing me, is the fact that some people are just so programmed that they won't even entertain the thought that they could possibly do that. And the sad reality is that when you think, oh, they wouldn't do that, it's, you wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. They will do anything. I'm reminded of conspiracy researcher David Icke, and he said that 4% of the world's population could be clinically diagnosed as psychopaths. And generally speaking, those people reach positions of power because they're willing to do things that you and I wouldn't do. And one of those things is spraying the stratosphere with aerosols. aerosol injections. It's aluminum and barium and strontium, to name a few. And these chemicals, they disperse these chemicals into the atmosphere, and all three of those are known to be toxic to humans. But yet we're breathing this shit in every day. And they claim that they're trying to deflect UV rays. And, they're trying to reduce the carbon footprint. When in reality, it's part of the hidden hand, or part of the Illuminati. The Illuminati families have determined that the earth cannot sustain the human population. And so they've had an ongoing agenda to poison, and they call it their cancer campaign, which those aerosols are known to cause cancer. 1 in 4 people in this country will be diagnosed with cancer at one point in their life. That's 25% of the population will be diagnosed with cancer. And 1 out of 3 people die with Alzheimer's or dementia. Not necessarily from it, but with it. And the idea that when you try to present information, well, in my own case, I can only speak for myself, as I'm trying to present this information, because I'm requesting that people write their legislators and their governors to demand that these poisons be eliminated, because somebody has taken it upon themselves to decide to run a giant laboratory experiment on the entire human population. They have no idea what the end result is going to be from putting these chemicals into the atmosphere. They claim it's to reflect the UV rays, but in essence, it creates a blanket. The natural Earth cycle is to heat up during the day and then cool at night. It releases that heat. And they're putting these chemicals, and it's basically an insulating blanket around the planet. The planet cannot cool itself at night. And so they're actually causing global warming. So now, not only are they poisoning the people, they're causing global warming, and they're going under the pretense that it's to assist the earth. And they're talking about our carbon footprint. Carbon makes up like 0.4% of the gases in the atmosphere. And during the time of the dinosaurs, there was like 40 times more carbon in the atmosphere than there is today. What they don't understand, or what people don't realize, is that without carbon, there is no plant life on this earth. Carbon is food for plants. And, I've tried to encourage people to do research of their own on subjects called geoengineering, on climate change. You can go to YouTube and you can punch in chemtrails. And dude, hundreds of videos come up of chemtrails. And there's one particular documentary, which I can't remember exactly the name of it, but it's a geoengineering documentary, and it's on YouTube. If you just punch in geoengineering, it's like the 3rd or 4th one down. It looks like an oil rig platform that's got a big, weather balloon on it. It's out in the middle of the ocean. That's a very good informational documentary if you don't know about what's happening. But they're poisoning us. They're poisoning the entire global population. And America isn't the only one doing it. The Russians are doing it. The Chinese are doing it. The Germans are doing it. And with all of the recent current events, you know, I don't want to lose sight on what motivated me to begin with to start doing videos, and that is my family. You know, I want my children to have the opportunity to live I mean, you know, with all the recent current events and the summer of chaos, you know, that kind of refocused my attention, and I'm paying very close attention to these conventions to see how events transpire. But I also don't want to lose focus on what could potentially be an even greater danger if we do make it through the summer of chaos, and if we do make it through the elections, and, you know, if somehow the possibility of Hillary not being installed or coronated as Queen of America, you know, if somehow or another somebody else gains that office, well, we might have a chance. However, geoengineering is something that affects every person on this planet. And it's right alongside fluoride and the fluoridation of the water. You know, the GMOs, they're poisoning the air, they're poisoning the water, they're poisoning the food. And it's all in a desperate attempt to try to reduce the global population. And we have to make our voices heard. That's why I encourage everybody to write your senators, your congressmen, your governors, demanding that they take action against geoengineering, against fluoridation, against GMOs. You know, it might not seem like much, but the more voices they hear, the more they will be willing to at least investigate. And that's what we need. Because right now, it's all being done in secret, and it's killing all of us. You know, so anybody who has children, anybody who has, you know, pets, anybody who has any reason to try to make a difference for the future, you know, these are opportunities to do that by making your voice heard, making your voice known. So I just wanted to get that out because it was bugging me about just the lack of even making the attempt to look into it, to just the possibility that these things could even be happening, and they're just brushed off like you're just a retard or something, you know, which I know that I'm not. And so I want to remind everyone to stay vigilant during the conventions. Keep an eye on, you know, events, the summer of chaos, but also look to the skies. If you see a jet whose exhaust travels the entire length of the sky, you're looking at chemicals that are killing us. So please, geoengineering, take a peek, Agenda 21, and keep an eye on the conventions. Thank you, and I appreciate your time. Good night.